Welcome to Zach Talks Hawks. This is the place where we talk everything Seattle Seahawks football. My name is Zach, and welcome back to the show. We are going to be talking about Seattle's big-time Week 15 Sunday night football matchup against the Green Bay Packers. We're going to go over some predictions for the week to come when it comes to our NFL pick'ems, and talk about some keys to victory. What will it take for Seattle to beat the Packers? In my mind, it's pretty straightforward. Can't wait to talk to you in just a little bit about that. Let's set the stage, though, as we talk Packers-Seahawks. This is a long-standing rivalry between these two clubs, and they do not like each other. And it just seems like every time they wind up playing each other, something weird and wonky happens between these two franchises that leaves the media in befuddlement by the time Monday rolls around when these two teams square off. You think of the NFC Championship game, you think of the Fail Mary, you think of tremendous comebacks by both sides, you think of even back in the days of Matt Hasselbeck, we want the ball and we're going to score. There's just something different between the Green Bay Packers and Seattle Seahawks. Their histories sort of mingle with each other with Mike Holmgren, and it's really, really cool to see this rivalry continue a new chapter in the books between two clubs who desperately need to keep on winning. The Packers are trying to stay shape in their division, trying to keep up with the Lions, but also vying with the Vikings, who are just refusing to lose for a playoff spot. And then Seattle coming out of a big win, 4 in a row coming out of the bye versus Arizona. Wasn't able to get that recap video for you this week. I'm a pastor, and so Christmas time's a little wild. And everybody in my house has been sick for 3 weeks now, so this is a labor of love at this point. But seeing Seattle rattle off 4 straight victories out of the bye week certainly makes my heart feel a little bit better. And Seattle's primed themselves to be in a great position going down the stretch, but they need this win against Green Bay at home. What will it take for the Seahawks to continue winning down the stretch now against a playoff caliber club in Green Bay? I tend to chuckle when we get to the media pundits and they talk about playoff seeding and whatnot, and they talk about the Seahawks, and they're like, man, wouldn't it be great if a team went and played against Seattle? And I know there's Green Bay fans out there that are like, man, I can't wait to be matched up against Seattle. As you know, they're the number 3 seed. It'd be really great to play against them. They're a weak team. Well, be careful what you wish for, because this team is clicking on defense now. They are top 15 in most categories in defense since their bye week. They are a tremendously defensive-minded football team with an opportunistic offense, and we saw that way much so this past week. I'm sorry, I'm blanking. My sickness is causing me a brain fog. This past week with Arizona, Geno was very opportunistic, got JSN for a touchdown in that game, did not turn the ball over, extremely efficient with the checkdowns, making sure he managed the game well, because Zach Charbonnet stepped up for an injured Kenneth Walker III, and Seattle ran the ball really well. Their offensive line showed up, didn't allow a sack. They opened up running lanes for Charbonnet. What will that look like now moving into this week against a Packer squad who is injured? They have 5 starters who are questionable this week, so that would be a boost for Seattle, even if 2 or 3 of them cannot play this week. They have injuries at linebacker and safety, which would help this offense. And ultimately, they have a big injury at wide receiver that could dwindle their offensive output, could relieve some strain on some corner play for Seattle. But I think ultimately, the major key to victory for Seattle is this: you got to shut down Josh Jacobs and this running game for Green Bay. Look, it's a new team, but it's the same terrible memories. We remember not too long ago, that man donned a Raiders uniform and decided to run for over 200 yards against Seattle. I know it was a much different team. Of course, Jacobs is literally on a different team this time around, but it was hard to watch this team that we, people my age grew up on, watching, being a stout run defense, being stewards on offense, really struggle against a running back like that. And Jacobs is primed to do that again against this squad, but I think this defense is up for the task. Many pundits are now saying that Seattle has one of the deepest defensive fronts in the NFL. Uchenna Nwosu coming back is a big help in that regard, but mainly Seattle is just uninjured on that front. Knock on wood for that to continue to be a reality. But this team is really chugging on all cylinders, making sure that everything is going just right. They're getting healthy at the right time, unlike the 49ers, unlike the Rams, who are still just sort of struggling through injury after injury. This team, and let's not even talk about the Lions, right? Their defense is terrible. It is most of those guys are on IR right now. Seattle is healthy, and they're healthy at the right time, and I think that's what gives them a puncher's chance against the Green Bay Packers. My bold prediction this week is that Kobe Bryant gets another interception. He's been on a tear since the bye. I've been really excited to see his development. And Jordan Love, you can force him to make mistakes. He's definitely got more Brett Favre in him than he does Aaron Rodgers. He sort of hucks it down the field and hopes to see what happens. I think with the Mike McDonald defense, this could be a great sign, a great matchup. Disguise coverages, send guys in and out. Make sure that you always keep that offense guessing. This is sort of McDonald's wheelhouse, and I'm really excited to see what this matchup looks like when they hit the field on Sunday night. And so for my prediction for this game is I am going to pick Seattle to win this puncher's chance. It is going to be a very hard-fought game. I really see it only being a very close game, like a 21-20 or a 24-21 kind of game. This isn't going to be a run away with it kind of game where we were all comfortable last week versus Arizona. We're going to be sweating this one out. This is going to be a great game to watch. I'm surprised not more great games are winding up on primetime right now with NFL's ability to flex games in and out. This is really the only primetime. Let me double check here. Yeah, this is really the only primetime game of the week that I think is worth tuning into. You're going to tune into tonight's game, Thursday Night Football, just because there's nothing else on TV. But this is the primetime matchup, and it will show what Seattle is going to be built for, because ultimately they are playing playoff football right now. They need to in order to have a chance to get into the playoffs. They control their own destiny, but you don't want that lead to slip away as this season continues to dwindle down. We did okay last week in our pick'ems, went 8 for 5 last week, or went 8 and 5 rather last week in our pick'ems. Not the kind of banner weeks we've been used to as of late, but we're at 116 and 93 for the season. Really excited to talk to you about pick'ems now as we go through the NFL slate. Maybe talking about your favorite team in the NFL this week. If you're not here for a Seattle Seahawks video and you're just here for my bright and shiny personality, your team will get a chance in the spotlight as we go through our predictions. The LA Rams tonight will square off against the 49ers in what will be a very important game for both franchises. Listen, both these clubs expected much different things this season. Certainly not to be chasing Seattle in the West, but they are both suffering through injuries this season. I'm going to pick San Francisco simply because of home field advantage, and I think San Francisco has more to play for right now. They can play spoiler to the Rams. If you knock the Rams out, their playoff chances are virtually nothing if Seattle winds up winning, and it keeps them alive. So I think San Francisco has a lot to play for this game. Brock Purdy had a pretty good game last week. I think they continue that this week. I'm picking San Francisco to get the win over the Rams. Please, please, please don't let me down. I need the Rams to win this game as a Seattle Seahawks fan. Washington travels to New Orleans in what will be one of many games that I'm just not interested this week. I believe in Washington's makeup. They are clawing for a playoff spot. New Orleans just lost Derek Carr. You have Desmond Ridder now leading the tank for New Orleans. They actually want to lose. So give me Washington in this matchup. Cleveland is hosting Kansas City this week in Cleveland, and I almost, against my better judgment, picked the Fighting Famous Jameses, because we have yet to see this season Kansas City really run away with a game, and this Cleveland offense is geared to get in a boat race with people, and they have Myles Garrett. So Kansas City has been notoriously bad on their offensive front this year. I just can't pick against this voodoo magic that Kansas City's got going on right now, so I'm picking Kansas City to get the win. Cincinnati travels to Tennessee this week. Look, Joe Burrow and company are fighting for their lives right now, trying to starve off elimination. Give me Kansas City in what is just a better team, a better matchup against Tennessee. I think this isn't really going to be a close game, but I might tune in just to see, Mayo Man have another memeable moment here for the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis. Miami trying to also, much in a similar vein to Cincinnati rather, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, walking into Houston. Houston is flirting with disaster right now. They are not playing their best ball. Indianapolis is on a bit of a tear right now, and they are just holding on for dear life for their division hopes. I'm going to pick Houston to get this win. This is probably one of the picks of the week where I'm not confident in what's going to happen here, but I'm going to pick Houston, and I wouldn't be surprised if Miami won, but give me Houston as they continue to try to right the ship come playoff time. Baltimore, coming out of a bye, goes to the Giants to play Drew Lock and the tanking Giants. Look, this is going to be, Baltimore by 50 this week. I think Baltimore's got a lot of haters to shut up, and this is the perfect opponent to do that with because the Giants actually don't want to win football games. Give me Baltimore on the road. Aaron Rodgers and the newly eliminated Jets are going on the road to play eliminated a while ago, Jacksonville Jaguars. This is not a game I'm tuning into. Got Trevor Lawrence out. Mac Jones is the guy right now for Jacksonville. Aaron Rodgers is totally sold out on the season. Poor Devontae Adams fell for the snake oil of Aaron Rodgers, and it's just not been a good time to be a Jets fan, but it will be this week. I'm going to give the Jets a win this week. Dallas going on the road after getting beat in the weirdest way last week against Cincinnati, tries to lick their wounds and play the Carolina Panthers. I almost picked Carolina here because they are playing really good football right now. Bryce Young is actually showing he's an NFL quality quarterback, and the Cowboys are limited on the offensive side of the ball with Cooper Rush. But I'm going to pick Dallas. I believe in their defensive front. I think they get it done against a porous Panther offensive line, and that'll be the difference in Carolina. Tampa Bay trying to catch up in their divisional hopes to play the Chargers on the road. I believe in Baker Mayfield, man. It is so cool. I love his story. I love what he means for Tampa Bay. Give me Tampa Bay here. I just don't see it yet with the Chargers. I think this time next year we're really going to talk about the Chargers as a team that is a team where you don't want to meet them in the playoffs, but they are a year away from that. They do need some more weapons on the offensive side of the football, and if Baker gets in a boat race with this club, you can just seal the win for the Buccaneers. Indianapolis playing a very important game, trying to keep up with Houston, playing against the white-hot Denver Broncos because, who saw that coming this year? Look, I believe in the coaching. This is the difference in this game. I believe in Sean Payton a little bit more than I do what Indianapolis has over there. Not anything against Indy, but I think their quarterback play is a bit more consistent because of their coaching, and Denver is going to squeak out a win against the Colts at home. The Patriots going on the road playing the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals right now are in free fall, needing a win desperately. They're going to get it this week against a lowly New England team who, much like some of these other teams that we mentioned, they don't actually want to win. They want to actually compete for the first pick of the draft. So give me Arizona, trying to keep the NFC West interesting, even though they do not hold a candle against Seattle in their tiebreaker hopes. Buffalo going on the road to play the Lions. Now, this is a crazy game because Buffalo loses to the Rams, and now they're in danger of really seceding the 1 seed, where that was still part of the conversation just a few weeks ago. Now playing the Lions, who have everybody injured. Jamal Adams is now playing for them because their defense is so bad and so injured. I'm going to pick Detroit at home. I believe in the home field advantage. I believe in Jared Goff. This is going to be a great game. This should be one that you tune into. And ultimately, I'm picking the Lions at home. If this was in Buffalo, I'd pick Josh Allen and company. But I don't know. Maybe this is the start of a supernatural funk for the Bills coming out of a heartbreaking loss to the Rams. We'll see as those two Titans square off in Detroit. The Battle of Pennsylvania is next on tap with Pittsburgh and Philly. Russell Wilson is playing his best ball since his days in Seattle, playing against an Eagles team who, if you look at the media, is starting to implode. Their locker room is slowly starting to fall apart, and it's kind of like the same stuff as last year. You don't have those high character guys to keep those guys together throughout a very long and grueling NFL season. With all that said, give me Pittsburgh. I think their defense gets it done. The offense has sort of lost something in Philly. Hurts hasn't really been throwing it deep down the field. Sure, he can get it done with his legs, and Saquon is like crazy, but you're going to need everything to come together to beat the Steeler defense, and I don't think Philly's got it right now. Give me Pittsburgh on the road to win the Battle of Pennsylvania. Sunday Night Football, we talked about how Seattle's going to beat Green Bay, so let's talk Monday Night Football. Chicago goes on the road in a divisional matchup to play the Minnesota Vikings. I am at the point now with the Vikings where I refuse to pick against them because they, much like Kansas City, just refuse to lose. And so I'm picking the Vikings. I don't think this is going to be a good game. I've said it all year. I don't see what other people see in Caleb Williams. He's very, very raw, very, very streaky. I posted on Twitter last week that he's sort of got weird shades of Tim Tebow in him. He stinks for a huge portion of the game, and then he ferociously comes back by playing awesome football. And if Tebow got exiled from the NFL for playing like that, why aren't we talking about Caleb Williams in that same regard? I don't know if they have their answer at quarterback because I can't believe in Caleb Williams. So I believe in Sam Darnold. He's been doing pretty good this year. So give me the Vikings to get the win on Monday Night Football. And then on the back end of that doubleheader, you have another matchup where I don't really care about. You have Atlanta and the struggling Kirk Cousins going to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. This is a great tune-up game for Kirk Cousins. Look, if you can't beat the Raiders with Desmond Ridder right now, you got problems. So I think that this is going to be a game where Kirk gets right, everything with Atlanta comes together, and they look like a competent football team all over again. And that is your NFL Pick'ems for the week. What do you think about our predictions this past week? We're doing pretty good right now. What do you think about the analysis for the Week 15 game with Seattle against Green Bay? If you're interested, we are having a live stream watch through on this channel. I'm trying to live stream all the games, trying to commentate through them with you. That's going to be a lot of fun. So you get to see, hopefully, my joy when it comes to watching Seahawk football. Come on in, stop by, say hi. We'd love to have you around. And can't wait to talk to you Sunday night as Seattle squares off against the Packers. And until then, my name is Zach. Keep talking Hawks. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys again here real soon.